Here at the team triangle, you can see the nice platform there. And so the objective here is the standard objective is everyone starts on the platform and you got to get everybody up onto the cables all the way around and back to the platform without touching the ground. And it works pretty effective. I mean, the inside is pretty much spotted by the group on the platform. A harder variation is you start everyone on the outside and they work their way all the way around so they can get a person to the middle. And that's kind of the biggest challenge, is getting everyone around to the middle. And then kind of once they have somebody there, that really helps them move around. It is one of the only low elements that the cables are intentionally a little bit loose to provide that extra challenge to groups. There's 3 ropes on each of the corners. Typically this element is an equilateral triangle. Ours is a little bit big. We have one section that's a little longer, creates a little bit of a challenge. Some of our facilitators use a crutch for that, just to help groups through that section. So some other things to think about as you run this, as we come up here, we want to make sure the platform's nice and cleaned off. Of course, this is right after snow is starting to melt, so typically, and no one's used this since last fall, so it's a little bit, no one's been on it. So as you get going here, we want to look up. We want to make sure, okay, nothing's going to fall and hit people as these trees start to move around. We have this big branch snap off over the winter here, probably half the top of the tree. So we want to make sure the tree's in good order, all right? There's a fish plate back from our tension traverse comments, and so I'm just want to look all the way around the tree, make sure there's no bees nests or anything like that on there. Make sure the cables are in good form. And so moving forward, want to put your ropes up on there. One of the things that I like to do is participants must remain in contact with another person, and what that does for you is it avoids the mad dash for the tree, so no one's going to run into a tree. The tree always wins those mad dashes. And I like to say, hey, see this rope here? This rope can be used, that can count as human contact. So if there's 2 people touching the rope, they don't have to touch each other. That counts as contact. All right, so some other stuff with the team triangle, and these are kind of some key takeaways that you need to think about. When participants are on there, you always want to make sure that you tell them, hey, don't put your fingers inside this staple, because what's going to happen is if somebody grabs and yanks on this, it could pinch their fingers. Again, step off safely. I always like to have facilitators or participants on the ground, all right, spotting as people hop up on the cable, and then they can spot as they go around. Now again, if you have people on the platform, it's not too bad, because then they're leaning into that just the same. All right, so let's go through some element, operating procedures. So when you have a cable, so we have this cable here, the maximum number of people on a cable, can you guess? How many is it? What do you think? It's a 2-part question. So you can have a max of 6 adults or 8 kids, all right? So 6 adults or 8 kids. And the reason I bring that up on the team triangle is this. What happens is people just keep pumping on one after another. The whole group will try to get up on there and go around. And so you really want to pay attention to it on this particular element. That's the one thing that you want to be mindful of on this. And then ropes on that, jumping to the platform. But again, if you set yourself up for success and say, hey, you always got to be in contact with one other person, no problem. All right, no problems there.